We are back on Taking Care of Business on News Talk 1180 KERN, 1230 KGEO, 1410 KERI, and now on 1000 KKIM in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So, Clay, what do you think of Diana Williams?
Diana
West.
Diana West, yeah. She's a pretty bright lady.
Yeah, she is.
She's taken a lot of heat for her book, American Betrayal.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and you know, there's things there that need to be said. You know, the POW issue, that part of it, 15 to 20,000 Americans ending up in Soviet prisons after World War II, that's disgusting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Well, anyways, one of my favorite guests, a man who needs no introduction, the man who exposed the Reverend Wright story, 5 to 6 years ago it's been? A gentleman we've had on the air several times before, Erik Rush, is with us. Erik, welcome back to Taking Care of Business.
Thank you very much for having me on.
Erik, it's always a pleasure. How long has that been? Has that been 6 years now?
It has been 6 years.
Oh, my God. And you broke it on old Hannity's show. You've been on Hannity a lot lately. Every time I turn around, you're on. It's great.
Well, back then it was Hannity and Combs, if you recall.
That's right, yeah.
I was actually... I also have the distinction of having been the first person on national television to have called Barack Obama a liar, because Alan Combs asked me, well, you know, it was on a subsequent show when he says, well, he said that he never heard anything like that when he was sitting in Reverend Wright's church. And is he lying? And I said, yes, he is.
Well, did you mention it?
Which was just like, oh my gosh, it was like the Earth was going to spin off its axis into the sun. I called this, wonderful, historic, history-making man a liar. It was just...
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, you may have been the first, but you're not by far the last.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
And that chorus is getting bigger and bigger every day.
I mean, every time his lips move, I'm not sure he's telling the truth.
Woof.
Yep.
I'm sorry, but the truth is
right.
I tell the truth.
Yep. Hey, well, Erik, we've got some exciting news on your end here. Tell us a little bit about Full Contact.
Okay, Full Contact with Erik Rush Live is a streaming radio show that I just launched. Today was the first day I was actually able to get a full broadcast out, because the first day we were hacked. And then I had some technical difficulties. We're doing it in a manner that has actually never been done before, so it's a little bit of a learning curve, but I'm getting great feedback about the show right now. I just got off the air, and we're going to take callers, and we're going to have guests, and we're going to say the things that nobody wants to say.
That's great, saying things that nobody wants to say. It's about time somebody said it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Erik, for our listeners that haven't heard you before, give us a little bit of your background.
Well, my background, I was born in New York City in 1961, the product of a biracial marriage. I grew up in New York City area. Of course, people wonder how I wound up being a conservative type of person, and I explain that in my book Negrophilia. What I saw as the inconsistency of what was being preached left versus what I observed in the world around me, and I guess I was just one of those lucky ones that had enough common sense to pick up what was going on. And so I moved out to Colorado in the mid-'80s because I wanted to get away from the city, and started writing commentary about 10 years ago, and the rest is history, I suppose. So,
is your mother white? Is that what you're telling us?
No, actually, my dad was white. My mom was black. So
are you, Zimmerman was a white Hispanic, so are you a white black, like Obama?
I suppose so. For all practical purposes, people are what they look like. George Zimmerman identifies as Latino because that's what he looks like. It's really weird. I mean, I guess I identify with black because that's what I look like more. But, you know, I'm very light-skinned. I don't look like Barack Obama's alleged Kenyan father. But, you know, why I said it's really weird is because there are, for example, in New York, there were a lot of Puerto Ricans I grew up with. And, you know, in a Puerto Rican family, you can have offspring that are inky black and offspring that are white with blonde hair and blue eyes from the same two parents.
Right.
So, you know, it's totally goofy. The whole race thing has always been a very curious, you know, piece of fruit for me to digest, I guess.
Yeah, and with the, you know, with America being such a melting pot, which is the whole idea, you know, it's hard to distinguish, and we shouldn't be distinguishing anyways, you know, from my point of view, but, you know, that's a whole other subject. We're having a conversation with author, talk show host, and the man behind Full Contact, Erik Rush.
You know, Erik, the big thing that people have to get over is color, and let's get to the root of what people really are. And that's where we need to be. Who are people, like Martin Luther King said?
Well, absolutely. You know, I've said many times that most people in this country at this juncture in our history don't really give a rip what race someone is. You know, I think that most people make their discernments based on the content of a person's character. The problem is that you have the political left and career activists and the Obama administration. That was pretty much the topic of the second hour of Full Contact today, was how the Obama administration, as well as of all of these others with an agenda, are serving to advance racial tension, stoke the fires of racial tension in order to, you know, advance this political agenda, which is, you know, this far left, so dissent in order to coalesce their political power.
You know, as much as I criticize Obama, and I do that constantly, I also pray for him every day. I just wish my prayers would be answered.
That he goes to heaven tonight?
No, not at all.
I like that. And Joe Biden takes over? Be careful what you wish for.
No, not at all. I pray that for success.
Now the Secret Service is going to show up.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
On your doorstep, not mine.
Yeah.
Well, at least I said he goes to heaven.
Yeah, there you
go.
Well, the IRS will show up on Clay's, so I don't know which of the two I'd rather have.
Let's talk about your book.
So before we get it, I just want to make a comment about what you just said. You know, the other thing, too, about the career activists, the Jesse Jacksons and the Sharptons is, and the Obama administration, by doing this, they're having people take their eyes off of what's really going on because they're focusing on these non-issues. Do you agree with that?
Well, of course. A great deal of what they do is a distraction. In addition to coalescing their political power, it also serves the purpose of, you know, we're not talking about the phony scandals. We're not talking about the economy. We're not talking about our deteriorating, you know, position on the foreign, you know, in the international stage. You know, all of the deficiencies in the administration, some of which are things that are being brought about by design, but nevertheless would displease the average American, all are being distracted from by these, you know, these things such as race.
We are having a conversation with Erik Rush, the man behind the Reverend Wright story that was broken 6 years ago. That's incredible. That just blows me away.
It is. I want to move to a different subject real quick, Erik, because I think you touched on it. Let's come back.
We'll do that after the break. We'll be back in a moment on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio News Talk 1180.